Alright guys, I am trying a new webcam today, just got it, so let me know what you think about the quality if you notice any difference. Today I wanted to talk about heart rate variability, HRV, if it's something that's worthwhile. As you can tell by the title of this video, I don't really think it is, and so I'm going to get into that here. Now, HRV being higher actually means that you are more recovered. When I first heard that, I thought that was almost a little counterintuitive, because I would think if there was a lot of variability between the beats, that something, almost seems sporadic, like maybe your body isn't recovered and so it's kind of going haywire, but that is not the case. A higher HRV tends to mean that you are more recovered. A lower HRV means you are less recovered. There's quite a few studies on this now. I have seen some research showing that it is helpful for endurance training. However, the information out there and the research out there for its application to resistance training is pretty limited. Regardless, that's not actually the only reason that I think it's not that important or that I don't care about it. If you're interested in the research behind this, like really getting detailed, you can check out the Mass subscription that's put out every month. It's a service that I am subscribed to. I think it's great, so feel free to check that out. However, in the studies there, I'm just very unimpressed by the results that we see. The idea behind HRV is that if you can measure HRV, you can see how well you're recovered, and you'll know sooner how soon you should have your next session, or maybe how intense to go. Maybe you're not recovered, so you want to take today off, or maybe you're really recovered, so you want to go for a PR. I do understand it in principle, but I really do think this is an example where you're just getting too much into the weeds, and it just does not matter for 99% of people. Maybe if it was found to be helpful, the top elites should be using it. Maybe it could make that difference between, a couple pounds or on a PR or something. But for most people, it's just not important. I would not be focusing on that. And actually, even in the studies, when they compare it to other methods of determining your recovery, like say vertical jump, I think Greg Nuckols talked about this as well, it is not as good as vertical jump, and it's certainly harder to test compared to a vertical jump, and it has more variability based on when in the day you test it and when you woke up. If you woke up at a certain point in your sleep cycle, it's all over the place. And so I really would not put a lot of emphasis on it, because it's just going to drive you nuts. It's almost like when people have this orthosomnia where they focus on sleep so much that they can't sleep, and then they get all these different devices that try to determine how well they're sleeping, and it just makes things worse. And so with HRV, I think that if you are really obsessing with it, it's not going to be found to be that helpful. I would say when it comes to recovery, I would focus on how do you feel consistently. How often are you able to add weight to the bar? Are you able to have good, productive workouts? Do you feel unusually fatigued? And if you do, is there a reason behind that? Like you're building up volume, you're accumulating volume over time, or does it seem unusual, like you've deloaded and now you're still feeling off? To be clear, I'm not saying that how recovered you are doesn't matter, but even in that respect, one could make an argument that you don't want to be fully recovered all the time. You might be going into a powerlifting competition and you are purposefully building up fatigue. If you were to then be looking at your HRV and say, well, man, I have a really low HRV, so I'm just going to not train today, that might go against the overall plan that you have over these macro cycles of training. I wouldn't even actually say it's a tool. There are some things that I would say, use this as a tool, use this as one tool, and together it makes this great picture. I wouldn't use HRV at all, personally. I'm not interested in it. That's why I say I don't care about it. Unless I see any research showing that it made some dramatic difference in results, I would not worry about it. It's just there's so much stuff out there that can help. This is not something I would waste any time on. If you're wondering how you recovered, I mentioned a few things already. And like I said, even vertical jump, I wouldn't even bother with that, to be honest, to get up every morning and test your vertical jump and try to determine how recovered you are. You can do it. It's not going to hurt anything. It's much easier to test. It's going to be a lot more consistent, but I still probably wouldn't take it to that level unless you're really just trying to experiment. So I would be pushing yourself in the gym. I would be making sure that you feel good, that you're progressing over time, but I would not be obsessing with some details like HRV. I know that was a short video. I really don't have that much more to say on it, though. I could tell you all the research. I could post research studies below, but again, I think there are other sources that are better for that if you really want to delve into it. I'm just telling you as somebody who has seen that research out there, and when the people who are at the top of this endeavor putting out a lot of research reviews, even if they're saying, the results are kind of ambiguous, I just wouldn't waste my time. It's not something to be overly concerned about. I don't think it's going to provide any advantage, and so I would say I don't care about it. I don't think you guys should care about it. Hope this video was helpful. Thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe for more videos like this.